being hovered.
Yep, and it will be locked in. Corky Azir returns in spring 2020. Is 5-3 so far in the 8 games that has been picked here in the LCK so far for this year. As we did see the Thresh hovered before, it does look like Effort is really eyeing that pick and wants to pick it up this time around. We'll see if he does lock this in with 4 seconds left. And it will be locked in. So will we see that Enchanter support? Finally, we are beginning to see that as counter picks here in the LCK.
Morgana, okay, it's gonna actually be Yuumi. So Morgana's one of the answers to obviously Thresh in a vacuum, and she does have some potency against some of the other champions, but it's gonna be the Yuumi for the Aphelios. And we'll have to see what rune Teddy elects to take when it comes into the game here, because Gen G, they have a very brawler team composition.
30초 남았습니다.
Here we go, guys. No fan chance, they're just cardboard, but they're here supporting anyway, as we do have T1 up against Gen G for our first matchup here. And as you did mention, lots of scaling on both sides. Will we just see a relatively calm early game, or is anyone going to try to rock the boat a little bit and try to get this early lead here?
Well, it's going to be Infernal Dragon to kick things off, as both teams just playing relatively defensive. It is going to be the Comet on Teddy, so it is going to be the long-range poke Varus, and that's going to cause some problems for Gen G, because the Corki and the Varus, even the Graves in the later stages, with their range, is going to be problematic for Gen G to actually fight against once this game goes the distance. So Gen G are the ones that are likely going to end up being on a clock. Graves doesn't need to get ahead early because he's going to have more usage for the team fights than, say, a Rek'Sai would. And that's one of the sore thumbs that's really sticking out in terms of the draft right now. So while T1 has all 5 champions that are going to be really effective in the later stage team fights, Gen G are going to realistically have about 4.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see Clid trying to go for big knock-up engages, perhaps into a backline, maybe try to catch one of their squishy underbelly 80 carries, maybe the Varus if he can get there. But as you did mention, he's not going to be too happy, as Cuz coming in here just casually going to steal away a bunch of popcorn chicken.
Oh.
As BDD is making a little run to put down a ward. He did not expect to see Cuz here, as over the wall goes Cuz. Do they have the damage? The flash forward, and there it is. First blood immediately given to Cuz at 2.5 minutes already.
Yeah, and so now Cuz, he's going to help Faker shove out the lane. The Faker doesn't have the wave clear to do so. BDD obviously has teleport. We pan over to top side, and you can see Rek'Sai not going to be able to find any sort of a gank. Kana is extremely healthy. Now BDD is going to get all of that solo XP, but down here in bot lane, Teddy and Effort, they're just going to crash, and I think they're going for a cheater recall. So lots of things happening here in this game. As we just take a look at the replay, pretty easy kill by Cuz. There's no way for BDD to really escape this.
Yep. Flash comes forward, a little bit of extra damage with the Phosphorus Bomb, as the last hit does go the way of Graves. Something to keep in mind, that late game Graves could be intensely scary as this game does come along. We did see a bit of a recall on the bottom side, but I'm not sure that they actually went for it because they're still down there and no other items were purchased. So perhaps canceling that recall just to update current state of the bottom lane, as Cuz, after picking up that casual first blood, just going to go back and farm it out.
So Rascal doing a pretty good job in the CS department up here against the Sylas, also maxing W, so not going to be going for the Q max and trying to just play a poke war against the Sylas, as we've seen some Orns attempt to do inside of the matchup. And Cuz is just going to keep power farming his Graves and basically say, this is fine. My laners don't need to win. Inaction is action for all of them, because they don't have an obligation to make any pressure or plays happen. As long as they're going even, they're winning. And so creates a lot of pressure on the side of Gen G, who typically probably wouldn't be feeling that way when you consider we have Yuumi, Aphelios, Azir, and Ornn. Those are all massive scaling champions. But T1's team compositionally in the later stages has more gears available.
Yeah, I mean, you just think about the way that the draft went. It was scaling pick, double scaling pick, and then T1 comes back with 2 scaling picks, and it's like, oh, okay. You know, it's clear that both of these teams are prioritizing one thing over the other when it does come to the draft. As we're taking a look here at some of the jungler stats for what does count. Kana might be in a little bit of trouble here, forced to flash the wall, but BDD still on the chase. We got an Ornn from the top side too, and now Kana, he does not have his flash, and soon he does not have his life, as 3 people will collapse and take it out. A kill earned here by Rascal.
Yeah, and that's a really big kill for the Ornn to end up getting. Helps him move towards his items. He's going to make the most out of it in regards to how these lane phases play out. Azir and Corki, you're mostly just going to be playing ping pong. So even if Azir gets that, it's not the most impactful. Rek'Sai getting it, not the most impactful. But Ornn heading towards core item completions really does change the dynamic of the top lane matchup, as Scryer Plant does end up getting hit here. And remember, Infernal Drake, first one of the game. Faker has the call available. They're just going to clear out the Blasting Wand. We'll see how everything pans out here. Kana going for a trade.
Yeah, little trades up on the top side. See Grasp taken here by Rascal just to handle the Silas that is going to get in his face. And we all know champions like Graves and Olaf, power junglers farming in the jungle. They love those camps such as the Raptors, and that was the second time that Cuz was just able to nonchalant go into the enemy jungle and steal those Raptors away. You can see he's already up to 40 CS, so having a pretty fun time himself. I believe he did miss both scuttles though, so that is one thing to highlight. You'll notice that Clid level 5 here. Will Cuz pick up 6 from this scuttle? The answer is yes, as he continues his power farm.
Well, Kana is just taking this slow. He's going to be able to pile up both of these minion waves, as well as the one that is about to arrive, and get the crash off onto the turret. And now Graves just continuing to just go for the power farm. You can see on the minimap, he's in his right-hand side jungle. He even has the option to actually start and solo the dragon right now, which looks like he's going to do, because he knows red buff's coming up for Rek'Sai. It's unlikely Rek'Sai could do anything because Corki has mid priority, so does my bot lane. And there's no way that Rek'Sai would be able to come over and then realistically contest this without risking losing his own life. As the turret plate's going to fall down here in bottom, and things are looking really good for T1 here. Mountain Dragon rolled second. And interestingly enough, remember, this... Oh, hold on.
Oh, going for the play, but the flash answers the flash. And no kill will go down onto Faker. It's part of the reason why that Corki is often picked into the Azir. It's one way you can easily get away from that engage that is normally pretty scary against immobile champions. As we do pan back up to the top side, Kana unfazed by that early death, is going to continue taking good trades. And that is one of the things I did want to talk about the T1 team. I feel like they are so good at raising rookies that have amazing poise and never really get that nervous. We'll see if my caster cursed him here talking good, because we do have Clid coming up for the gank. Kana gonna steal it as his own ultimate, but he is dead meat up in the top side. Had to just curse him, didn't I?
Yeah, you absolutely did have to curse him, I guess, fellas.
What poise he had as he went down. I suppose it doesn't change much. We'll see how he does react to being down 0-2 in the first game of a finals. Generally can be pretty jarring for any young player.
And you can see here, Cuz now just returning to farming his blue side jungle. Also has both the control wards. Gonna end up dinging level 7, and now they're actually gonna start up the Rift Herald right now. Now Faker is on a recall, so Rascal's gonna be the one that comes over here first. BDD is gonna be able to crash in that mid wave and potentially come over. We'll have to see what Clid actually wants to do here. You can see Rascal canceled one of his first recalls, but no, they're not interested in contesting. It's going to be a free Rift Herald going the way of T1. And where you want to plant this is most likely in mid lane, because it's very hard to get damage onto Azir's turret, and that mid-tier 1 can really be a thorn in your side. And in the replay here, Ornn ultimate comes out. Kana just goes down pretty easily. Nothing too fancy about it.
It looks like Rascal actually forced a dash early with his own charge and then immediately summoned the ultimate so that it couldn't be dashed away from. Of course, Flash was still not available, and I think the second Kana saw the ult, he's like, yeah, I'm dead. Not much he could have done there except maybe try to steal Ornn's ultimate and use it faster to, I don't know. It was really dire straits, and as you guys could see, it did end up leading to another kill up in the top side. But we were talking about Kana and how he has turned into quite the player in his series, but Effort, another young player, he's going to go for his own play here. Doesn't have vision over the walls, so pretty much blind there. Not quite able to land onto Ruler, who still did have cleanse anyway, had it landed.
So they do get the flash out of Ruler, though, which is really key for the next team fight that can end up unfolding. And the way that it currently stands, it looks like Baker going to be able to complete his call here shortly. Also has the Monomune with a Ruby, so we'll be picking up the Phage. And not too long time, as Teddy just continuing to hard poke down here in bot lane. Winning by quite a bit in CS, but obviously Ruler's going to pick up a pretty good percent of this. BDD and Klid, they spot Cuz, and for the time being, nothing's going to end up happening, as Cuz is just shadowing.
Oh, they get the cleanse out of Ruler to end the poke down with both abilities. Cuz is down here. There are no summoners available for Ruler. Now they do have exhaust heal on the Yuumi, but Cuz's presence alone is enough to push them away as he's going for it, actually. The ultimate is going to go in, but he does not be able to take the lantern as he was rooted, as Cuz may be a little bit overconfident in that play himself.
That happened.
Yes, we witnessed it.
Yeah, that was
live.
a series of events that did just unfold on our screen. And this actually should have allowed Klid to just keep power farming and then catch back up in the XP difference. And why Cuz just made this, I'm not entirely sure. Because there was no universe where he ever kills Ruler there. Meanwhile, up in top lane, we are having a really heavy trade. Lost Chapter was built first by Kana. Let's take a look at this. So, they could have just summoned the Rift Herald and crashed the wave, and Ruler would have lost everything. But they go for a play, and the Lantern gets denied by a control ward.
Yep.
But just very overly greedy, and ends up getting punished for it. So his clear speeds are going to be a little bit down. He's going to be under-leveled compared to where he could have been at. And that's obviously a little bit unfortunate. However, T1 should still be in a commanding position to get this Mountain Dragon. They're going to summon Herald down in bot lane. They're going to give all the gold over to Teddy to really just try to accelerate this lethal or lethality Varus. And that's obviously really valuable. Now, if you're T1, you want to roll Ocean Soul here. If you're Gen G, you're begging for Cloud. Okay.
It's Cloud. Gen G are going to win the roll this time, 50-50. It's got to feel pretty nice. And yeah, it's, you know, obviously not going to be as good as Ocean Soul, so that's that, but still a really nice lead taken here by T1. Wasn't as clean as it could have been. As you mentioned, just zone away the bottom lane, summon Rift Herald, keep it simple when, you know, there's a lot on the line, and there's a lot of nerves, of course. No reason to take that extra step as, oh. I love to have Jonas Strong zoomed in on the cannon that he knew he was going to miss, as it felt like Kana also felt he was going to miss that one, as he's been having a rough time up there in the top side. Gold still relatively even, only 1,000 in the lead here for T1, but still, the longer they can sit back, relax, and scale, they're going to be just happy.
Yeah, and Teddy and Effort now, they've rotated towards the left-hand side of the map. Ruler is up here as well, but this is also very good for Silas because it gets him into a longer lane where he's going to be less at risk and he's going to have a lot more freedom over what he's trying to do. As Effort and Teddy...
Oh, this Rek'Sai not in a great spot here. He's trying to tunnel away. Doesn't even flash to try to get away from that one. And he's going to go down in a kill that did go the way of Faker. So just like that, another mistake, another casual pickup of a kill by T1.
Yep. And Cuz, he has the tier 2 boots, he has the warrior enchant. Now he did pick up a ruby crystal, so it looks like he wants to go for Black Cleaver. And obviously Silas and Corki not getting super insane benefit out of it. However, Varus will in a team fight, obviously with all of his lethality. Any armor shred that can come in or be granted by Graves will amplify his damage. So Cuz trying to be a little bit more of a team player this time around, as 2.5 minutes until the Cloud Dragon is going to come up. And for Gen G, they're down 2.2 thousand, but you do have to factor in the added benefits of the Dragons. As take a look at how this transpires. Clid unburrows really early, and then Cuz is just able to bring him down. Doesn't even need to use his R.
Yeah.
좋은데 잡은 것 같아.
오케이. 나이스. 아빠 갈게.
뭐하노?
이거 아직 노플이야.
그래서 패스인 거 없어?
Well, I was just enjoying the facial expressions
Yep.
from Faker. High focus here when it does come down to the finals. As he looked, he didn't say nice, but you could see the satisfaction on his face from a kill that was relatively easy for him to pick up. As that dispels more disaster here for Gen G starting off in this one. You mentioned the gold, now it has increased even further. Not to mention the 2 Drakes and the later game scaling. As Shirley is going to be picked up here. Second Rift Herald of the map. It's going to be taken by Cuz without any pressure once again. As we'll see where he does aim to put this down.
Oh!
Look, he's going back. Oh, no. Oh.
So that's actually a little bit problematic because I think it almost invalidates the benefit that he got from Cull. So he's now actually just on even footing.
For sure, it does. That's really, oh man.
Well,
You guys saw it firsthand. Even Faker makes mistakes when it comes into finals.
not going to be the end of the world, though, by any means. 2,500 gold lead still here for T1. And if you're on the side of Gen G, you're waiting for the ornaments to come in. You're waiting for more items to come online. But the problem is that with T1 having all the early dragons, they're fine to also just give away future Drakes if it means getting better positions in the future or waiting on even more impactful core item completions. And again, at 3.5, 4 items, the mobility and range aspect of T1 is just going to be so hard for Gen G to interact with, and Rek'Sai can't do anything in this game.
No, I mean, he's been put so far behind. You were talking about having an impact in the early game. Well, I think he kind of lost that, as now he's just kind of sitting around, and he will be that knock-up bot that I was talking about a little bit earlier on. As Rift Herald summoned here right as the Cloud Drake is going to spawn. Let's see how T1 wants to handle this. Gen G really making a case. They want to take out this dragon. But here comes T1, all 5 of them, but effort is going to be hit by the long-range sniper that is Ruler. The ultimate is going to come in from the Kana, actually, as Chains of Corruption comes down, and now Rascal in a ton of trouble, but he is going to be able to get away as Yumi's going to help, but Thresh alongside of the Varus is going to have enough damage. The sniper from long range to take out Rascal, and now 5v4. T1 will look to push.
And so T1, now they're not going to be able to get the mid-tier 2 turret, at least not just yet, but they're going to be able to pillage the red side jungle of Gen G. And so even though Gen G get a Cloud Dragon, what does that really mean for their champions? Not much. 10% ultimate CDR, not really impacting anything on this game. So at the very end of it, the map state still benefits T1, and they make out more inside of this team fight. So Rascal goes for an ultimate, but there's no way you can see BDD clicking away. He's not going to go for any sort of Shurima shuffle. Kana locks up Ruler with the ultimate, but Effort flashes forward. Lots of damage coming out onto Ornn, and then look at the piercing arrow by the Varus, dealing so much damage. And this is going to be the song and a dance that Gen G don't have a reliable answer to. The only way to reach the long range on the side of T1 is gonna be the Ornn or BDD if he finds a miracle engage. But Corki has Valkyrie, Varus can obviously flash away, there's Lanterns too. It gets very difficult to get on them. So Gen.G are gonna have a really high ask of themselves as we are now in the mid game. Ornn is level 13. He's just waiting to complete his second Ornn item. He'll ornament that one straight up.
Yeah, when he does complete the Sunfire Cape, that should be coming out here. Klid does have a Yuumi on his back at all times, it seems, as not really sticking around the AD carry here is life just yet. Is helping gain vision with the jungler. And we have seen BDD, though, on this Azir pull off some insane engages, even against similar teams such as this. It seems like he has a really great knack for knowing, you know, what is gone, you know, who has Flash, who has Valkyrie, who has mobility, when do I go in exactly, and sometimes he'll wait until the very last second to make it happen. So, still keeping my eye on him to see if he can do it. Ruler also picking up a kill, but pretty far behind in terms of CS onto Teddy at this point. So T1 absolutely sitting here in the lead. You can see the most gold on the map will go the way of Teddy and Faker. Basically the same amount, and then Rascal is number 2. So that really tells you what the deal is there in the bottom lane for Gen.G.
Well, just a lot of wave clear happening. Baron is live, and yes, Gen.G can clear it pretty quickly, depending on what guns Aphelios has available to him. They also have, obviously, the Azir. They can tank it for days with the Yuumi. So that is something that T1 needs to be conscious of, as we're going to enter into a bit of a lull state, but no forbidden love here today.
No forbidden love. This is all on the books. Everybody knows about this love. As you can see, there was a giant wave crashed into the bottom side. It did look like Rascal got there for the majority of it, but kind of not going for a freeze or anything like that with his bottom lane turret still available. He's just going to push that one in, as we do have a minute and a half until this Cloud Drake will spawn up. And T1 are just fine with that.
Yeah. They have the 2 lethality items right now on the Varus. Obviously has another serrated Dirk. And you can see the Executioners. There's even an argument for him here to just go Mortal Reminder and sit on that last serrated Dirk. And you would just get the pen there, you would get the Grievous Wounds that Varus can apply to multiple members inside of a team fight. Silas very close to his core item completion, as Graves looks like he's going down a defensive item route as he picks up a Null Magic Mantle. Corki sitting really pretty right now. And Rascal is probably about to ding level 14. He's been 13 for a little while. That's going to be the Molten Edge most likely handed over first. And then Obsidian Cleaver will most likely come in later for Klid.
Yeah. That's what you would have to imagine is the order of things here. Still struggling to hit that number, though, as he was in the bottom lane trying to get CS, trying to get XP, but he had to actually group up here in mid lane for the team fight. So unsure whether he'll hit that before this Cloud Drake fight happens. But look at T1. They say, sure, go for the Cloud Drake. We don't care. We'll take Baron under your noses. And this is something you were talking about. They can give away 1, 2, even 3 Cloud Drakes, as long as they don't give the soul away, because they will have higher value. As, okay, gonna land that Chains of Corruptions, the poke coming out from Teddy alone, as they have pulled off the Dragon, and Klid is incredibly low. Rascal has to face check it, but the poke is huge from the side of Teddy. And T1, as Baker over the wall, immediately gonna get exhausted here, ends up baiting out the Ornhorn.
So this is sort of what we're talking about, is these long-range assault arrows and repositioning.
The follow-up engage, they're gonna find Ruler, but he flashes away. He's able to get out of this one. Kana getting sniped now. With Ruler at full health, that Yuumi is helping out so much, but that's another big poke down onto the Aphelios so far, as hook after hook will sail wide.
And the thing is that there's no reliable answer to Varus. He's just gonna keep shooting these arrows, and it's so hard to get onto him because of the threat.
Because he's looking for the steal this time around. He's not gonna get it. That's 2 good smites out of Klid, but they do get the Azir. Now, what will this mean for Gen.G? What will they lose as T1 5v4 once again? but much healthier than the first time it did happen at the Cloud Drake. We're looking for more, but so far it is just the enemy jungle.
Yep. Cuz gonna steal away the Raptors right here. And now there's no reason to really rush the Baron because you know that BDD has teleport available. And now Genji, they're going to be respectful with their approach here. They have Tremor Sense so they can tell when certain things are going on. So it looks like T1 are going to be content to maybe just take a reset here. Silas waiting on a pretty big item completion. We'll take a look at this one more time. Genji, their members are very low on HP. Smokescreen comes out, and it's a very obnoxious ability that I think a lot of people don't give it enough credit for. Cuz says something I can't say as he shoots the ultimate over at Azir, gets the kill onto him, and at least brings a small victory to T1 there, as the gold lead now 5,000, and again, it's only Cloud Drakes. This doesn't do anything.
Not anything that's good enough to carry Gen Z to a lead at this point in time, at least. As Clid, he's been on point tonight with the smites. You can see those fingers are ready to go with the instant reflexes that he has been pulling out here. Gen Z clearing out vision around the Baron once again, as it is a bit of a song and a dance once again. Before we do get into another Cloud Drake fight, most likely, as Rascal, he did hit level 14, upgrades the Molten Edge. You can see Rek'Sai working on the Black Cleaver to be eventually upgraded. As now it's T1's turn to sidle in and take a little bit of that vision away.
So this is going to be the scariest point in the game for T1. They're waiting for the utility items to start coming in. You can see Graves finally has the Hex Drinker, and Silas still apparently waiting. Obviously he's very stunned. Okay, there's the Luden's Echo. Finally picked up by him. So his next item probably could either be the stopwatch, or he just starts moving towards the Banshee's Veil. That could end up coming in as Varus, Edge of Night. These are the item pickups that start making things more problematic for Gen G, as here we go.
Oh boy, quad BDD in the back there as Rascal, he's a tanky boy, but BDD not so much. Here comes the Ornhorn from the sign of Silas. As now the follow-up coming in here from Rascal. Nobody really going for it yet, but the Moonlight Vigil does come down the BDD, and everybody is so zoned away by this Varus, who is doing insane poke damage into the back line. And he's got, you know, Yuumi she's working overtime.
Yeah.
You know, she's the nurse. She's an essential worker right now for this team, and is really keeping everybody on their toes and on their feet here so that they can stick in the fight, because if it were not for that healing, I feel like Gen G would have already been pushed out of this game and out of this fight in the mid lane.
And the thing is Yuumi is basically a walking Pokemon Center right now, and she's so integral to Gen G trying to resist the Varus poke. The gold lead, however, continues to widen. We're at 6,000 now here in this game. Faker going to be really close to the completion of the Infinity Edge, I would imagine, as Graves now himself picking up an Executioner's Calling just to add that much more. Grievous wounds inside of the team fight for the targets that maybe Varus can't get on top of himself, as Teddy's most likely going to pick up a Mortal Reminder next, I would assume.
Yeah, you would have to assume with the items that he does have at this point, that will be the next objective, as Cloud Drake number 3 of the game is on the cards here in 45 seconds. Is T1 going to put up a bit more forward of a fight, or are they just going to let this one go? As Chains of Corruption this time around, they will go wide, as they have been pretty on point so far in this game.
And just lots of posturing happening right now. Gen G, this is going to be their closest fight that they could possibly have against T1. And it's going to be over the 3rd Cloud Dragon, which they do win it. It does bring it 2 soul point. So that is a bit of an upside. Ornn is the main piece of Gen G's comp that's keeping them in this right now, because he is so tanky. He can take multiple shots, and his Ornn ultimate is the real core piece to a victory. Oh, man.
Do they know he's in here? Okay, Faker's not going to do any crazy backline shenanigans, but he does catch Clid off guard. And with the package that he has available, He can reposition at any time. As you can see with the home guards from Teddy with the teleport, he's going to be able to get in and have that speed boost to land another one onto Ruler, who again, doesn't seem to be too unhappy about it, as he is at full health nearly instantly thanks to Yuumi.
And it looks like there's just lots of posturing right now, but Cloud Dragon is up. You can see that top wave.
Oh yeah.
Lots of value there. Faker's gonna pick up the red buff. That'll be very valuable for this team fight. Clid is level 12. He's gonna be
here we go. Clid. He's just so squishy, and he's gonna be burst down in the back as now Ruler, he doesn't have a Yuumi to help him out this time. His life was there in the front line, and this is absolute disaster for Gen.G. As immediately, 3 of them, 4 of them even, are going to go down. Kana looking for the kill, as that took quite a while. And Ruler did end up picking up the kill. I'd like to say, don't chase the Aphelios into his own jungle. As now Cuz looking to just solo down the Drake. He is going to have a bit of a help from his friends. As another big team fight going to go heavily in T1's favor.
Yeah, and Ruler does end up picking up the kill there. Now the Cloud Dragon does go the way of T1. As let's take a look at how this all transpired. There's no phalanx on the side of Gen.G, and you can see Clid's coming over here looking for the tremor sense to see if they're on the Baron or doing anything. Everyone's spread up, and they just get completely annihilated in this team fight because they're all spread out. And there's no way for Ornn and Yuumi to protect against everything that was coming their way. And then Kana, you got to learn how many years it was.
Yeah. A lot of years went into that one, as Ruler now 2-0. And if there ever were to be a savior on the side of Gen.G, Ruler would be one of them. We haven't seen much out of this Azir just yet in the game. We haven't seen any miracle engages. We haven't seen any backline access. It's mostly just been a couple of them zoned away from every single fight. That is not good news. We have Azir and Aphelios as your damage dealers. You'll notice the side lane focus out of T1 so far. Kana has, he hasn't had the cleanest game, but he's been really good with manipulating the side lanes as, oh boy, Clid is caught again. He is going to barely live here as Cuz also caught a little bit with the lantern on the other side of the wall. As Rascal not quite able to land that one, desperately trying to find anyone on the side of T1.
The thing about this is you can just sort of see the mobility on the side of T1 inside of the team fights. All their champions are very agile, and it makes it very difficult for the team composition of Gen.G that wants to fight as a phalanx and as a slow-moving tank, essentially. Just can't really achieve that. And with Varus getting stronger and stronger, there's no aid that's really coming to Gen.G. There's no item breakpoints in the future. And if you want to talk about a breakpoint, we have Stoneplate on Ornn this game, which isn't going to really be doing anything because even if he activates it, T1's whole fights are fought around cooldowns. So if he activates it, T1 just has options on how they want to use their abilities. And it doesn't really do a whole lot against Poke.
No, and you're looking at a quirky Varus on the enemy side, so obviously not going to be too happy about that. But that is the pickup regardless. He is going to be that immovable tank you were talking about. As look at the way T1 are playing around Rek'Sai. You can tell they've done this more than once, guys. As everybody's standing still, even Cuz directly in the middle of the river in no brush is going to just go ahead and stand still. As Cloud Drake's still 2 minutes away, still a lot of posturing around this objective.
The Mortal Reminder was completed on Varus, and probably going to be Duskblade of Drakthar as his next item, also as the Boots of Swiftness. As we can even see Mortal Reminder going to be coming in on Graves here shortly as Rascal.
Okay, someone's got a face check, and it's Stoneplate Ornn. It's one way the Stoneplate can be useful, as now it's up to Kana to try to do a better impression of the Ornn. They're actually going to take down the turret here, but T1, okay, now it's Rascal's turn in the front line. They're trying to burst down Cuz as they get the knockup. That's immediately from downtown as Aphelios, but they don't have the damage. as even Faker is going to live. He was in the front line just stoning the rest of the composition away, especially VDD, as more and more poke going to come down. And everybody on the side of T1 will once again survive.
And T1, they are in such a commanding position now. It's a 9,000 gold lead. Cloud Soul coming up in 50 seconds. And as if they weren't already very nimble inside of the team fights, they're going to get even more so with that Cloud Soul. As now they're starting up the Baron, and there's no approach by Gen G, as Teddy is basically Legolas, gatekeeping right here.
Look at him, it's 1v5. 1v4 in the enemy jungle. And he knows he has a lantern and flash if he ever needs to get out of there. He is the protector with the mighty bow. As we will take another look here at the fight.
And the lockup onto Rascal, he activates the Stone Plate, he runs away with the Yuumi, and then again, look at Rek'Sai, can't do anything in the fight, he doesn't know what to do, as everyone forms a concave on the side of T1, and it's too hard for the Phalanx of Gen G to fight against, because everyone's ranged, they're all poked, and they have so much repositioning, so it's very difficult for Gen G to find any sort of an opening.
And now Gen G desperate, they go for the Cloud Drake and they will pick it up. But it looks like they're going to lose an inhibitor at the same time. Lantern, simple move. With the Baron, T1 say we can push waves faster than you can take Cloud Drake. And that they will. They take mid inhibitor, they're going down top. And they're looking for yet another engage here effort with his flash. He does need it.
Oh, and Yuumi, again, she's going to be working overtime here. Nurse Joy.
Scenes of corruption.
Oh!
Yep, that was one arrow. One arrow to the face, and he has Mortal Reminder, so he makes Yumi's job even harder. Protesting the heals on the side of Gen Z, as in comes the ultimate out of the Ornn, but from downtown in their own base is Kana. Hello. They're gonna take down that turret and try to zone away Kana, will Gen Z, but it just looks hopeless on their side. They cannot stop the onslaught that is T1.
Well, T1 now, they've raised 2 inhibitors. They extend the gold advantage to 12,000. And there's just no way for Gen G to get back in this game outside of a Miracle Ornn ultimate, followed by a 4 or 5-man Shurima shuffle. Just absolutely unrealistic situation. So, I don't know what to tell you, Valdez. This one is looking like T1 has this one in the bag. As Corki at 4 items, you can see Silas, not sure what his 4th item is actually going to be, as he has the Blasting Wand and he does have an Amp Tome. So he has options. He can go for the Banshees. No.
Merlin Omicron? Sounds good to me.
Well, Corki in a TP right back into the fray, gonna use the teleport. Also has a Vampiric Scepter now, so has a little bit of sustain added into him.
Yeah.
And this is looking like this could be the final siege. You can see Ornn is gonna make one last stand with his ultimate, but this is it.
Yep, I love how carefully T1 play it, even Teddy. Whenever he knows that a potential engage is coming, he doesn't overdo it. He knows his strengths, but he also knows his weaknesses. With Edge of Night down, he will say, okay, let's just wait. 30, 40 seconds, get it back. Let my teammates push. Of course, Faker on the Corki has a lot more mobility. The base of Gen G is in tatters. So they can just take this really slowly in through the bottom lane, as Ruler is going to be knocked up, but that's inside the base. Nobody can really follow up on that one. Faker ever so slowly chipping away, as this time around looking for Cuz. They will get the knockup, but again, no follow-up. That is not the Miracle Ornn ultimate we were looking for to win the game. As at this point, I think it's going to take more than just one.
Yeah. And the other thing here, though, is that Gen G, they do have 3 Cloud Souls, but you can see it's still too far away for Ornn to get his ultimate up again. So, 3rd inhibitor going to go down here. T1 does manage to raise it, and now they're going to back off. So, they have a 7v5 enabled. And the other upside is, if you look at their levels, 17 on Kana, 17 on Cuz, 18 Faker, 18 Teddy, 14 Effort. On the flip side, Ruler 16, BDD 17, Clid is 15, Rascal 17, what have you. So even though triple inhibitor can sometimes actually be a dangerous thing in that you give your opponent a lot of XP and gold that you're then not making access of, T1 doesn't have to worry about that. They're so far ahead in gold, and all their champions are basically at max level.
They're fine. I mean, they're just sitting pretty at this point. As Faker just gonna farm a little bit more, looking for that last item in his builds to build on top of the Vampiric Scepter here. And Cloud Drake in 30 seconds. At this point, with the pressure that the 7v5 does provide, they could just potentially go for it. But you can see all of the lanes now pushed out. Gen G looking to make a 5v5 happen. Really, the question is, will T1 give it to them? Will they say, okay, let's fight? Because I'm not sure that they have to. They have so much pressure on the map. And you can see that T1 say that as well with their body language, with their champions. They're just gonna back away. They say, what are you gonna do? Force and engage when we're halfway down the lane? You can't catch me.
And well, BDD, I mean, he has teleport available, but yeah, Gen G, they realize, yeah, we have to give this up. And so that's gonna be the Cloud Soul going the way of T1. And Baron coming up in 10 seconds. That'll probably be easily captured by them as well. As we're just taking a look at the CDR, I guess, on the ultimate. It's only 20%, so... Again, none of these champions are champions where you're going to see them potentially cast their ultimates twice in a team fight. And generally, even to have that happen requires 3 or 4 Cloud Souls. So, T1 now posturing. Corki, he has the package. And here we go. That's very fast.
Yeah.
It needs to be a hero. Oh, there's the blast cone, so...
They see it. They see this is happening, and that means that Cuz and Faker will back away. No chances taken here by T1.
Unlike Fnatic, T1 will respect the blast cone and walk away from it, as there's no reason to really coin flip the game here. Now, Cuz does have the option to start this back up.
Now, there's vision here. There's actually just a ward straight in the pit, so they absolutely know this is happening. BDD has TP. It doesn't look like T1 were aware of that until just now when Gen G just immediately walked up to them. And so T1 once again just going to go for a reset. Again, no risks taken, as a lot of inhibitors coming up here. We only have 2 minutes on the bottom inhibitor until all 3 are available. And this game is going to go the distance. We're already here in game number 1, 42.5 minutes.
Well, it is absolutely going the distance, but things are just getting better and better for T1. Obviously, Elder Dragon coming up in 4 minutes. That is a way out for Gen G. That's a potential Hail Mary to try to win the team fights, but if T1 gets it, the game ends almost instantly. As here we go.
Oh, they're trying to bait Ruler in. Look at Teddy's positioning from the right side. He lands that chain of corruption. Ruler is going to have to cleanse that one away. And now Kana in the front line. Good timing on the Zhonya's, and the poke is huge, but they still get the kill. And it's 5v4 now for Gen Z. That is the one stepping stone that they have to take here to slowly come back in some of these fights. You can see that they're trying to zone away Clid as the jungler, as immediately T1 are going to try to start this up once again, but teleport available now on the side of Ornn, and they are going to have to back off of this objective once again.
And it's really surprising. T1, they're being very respectful of the Rek'Sai, but Cuz is the one with the level lead and also the execute priority on the Baron with the Graves. He's going to be much more in control of the speed of the burst. And so even in these dangerous situations, if T1 would get it, the game would end. If they would lose it, the game wouldn't necessarily end. However, they are erring on the side of caution. Kana does have teleport. He's going to be able to come in here in just a second. Cuz probably should eat the honey fruit. He's missing some HP, but no, he's just going to start it up.
Yeah, this time around, T1 saying enough is enough. And with so many members outside of this fight, they are just going to be able to take it down. The spike comes down from Cuz, as now Kana is back with a vengeance, as you cannot get away from every single CC. Can Eladios do it? As he is doing insane AoE damage to that backline. But his ultimate now is down, and Clit is also down. And it doesn't look like Gen G have the firepower to take it to T1 in this game.
And it doesn't look like Eladios is going to be able to carry them over the finish line here, as that's Baron. This Baron, if by some, I don't even know, some miracle, T1 does not end the game here. If Gen G can somehow manage to sustain, even though one of their turrets are on their last leg. I don't think it's possible, Valdez, but who knows? Elder will be captured by T1,
yes,
as the Baron does convert into that. So T1 should 99.999, repeating of course, should win the game.
Well, thank you for that, LS. You gave us the stat, and I believe you are correct. As this time around, Kana, he's got Emperor's Divide. He's going to be looking for Emperor's Ruler desperately, trying to do it, but he's going to get hooked. Does have a Yuumi on his back, but the Nexus just going to be focused down. GG T1 will take game number 1 over Gen G.
And we outlined it inside of the draft phase that there would be pretty obvious